Congressman, thank you so much for being here today. Wanted to ask you, of course, Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by anti-Trump FBI agents Tim Tebow with, of course, Special Prosecutor Jack Smith heading the operation, which was just days after President Trump officially announced for re-election. America First Policy Institute was a target of Arctic Frost. What do you expect is going to happen with this? Will we see more hearings? What do you think's next in terms of accountability for this action?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, there's broad recognition that we have to have accountability here. The Senate Judiciary Committee is running their investigation. We've got work that we're doing on the House Judiciary Committee, which I sit on. Everybody recognizes that this was the definition of you show me the man and I'll show you the crime. This was the Biden administration casting a wide net to as many conservative pundits and institutions and organizations that they possibly could to subpoena as much information as possible to see what they could find. They were doing this on ostensibly related to January 6th. We know that was a lie. They went after organizations that were created after January 6th. I mean, it's insane. So there will be justice here. Of course, we know something that has been revealed recently is that they also went after sitting United States senators, which I think is so far beyond the pale that we're going to be getting to the bottom of this.
Now, you mentioned that members of Congress, organizations, and I had mentioned the America First Policy Institute has been a target and really a victim of this action. And I was asked earlier this week, what was it like to be on the other end of a subpoena? And I had to respond, the funny part is we didn't even know that we were being subpoenaed because the legal action of this, it was a gag order that was filed on this. Now, Congressman, I know you've introduced legislation on impeachment articles against Judge Boasberg. Will there be any accountability with this form of judicial activism? Can you talk a little bit about those articles that you filed and why?
Sure. Yeah. So what we filed these articles about specifically was Judge Boasberg's role in Arctic Frost. And one of the things that he was engaged in was signing these nondisclosure orders related to sitting United States senators while they were in office, saying that mobile carriers, cell carriers could not disclose to those senators that their data was being monitored. I mean, that is such an egregious abuse of power, a violation of the separation of powers, a politicization and outright weaponization of our courts, that this is somebody who has no business being anywhere near the federal judiciary. So I filed articles of impeachment against him a few weeks ago. This is something that you've heard several United States senators call for as well. Senator Schmidt, Senator Cruz, several others. And it's something that I hope and have been pushing to move in the House quickly.
Well, thank you so much for filing that bill. We are certainly watching that egerly. Would you consider Judge Boasberg a nonpartisan actor or judge?
No, this is a guy who has a long history of doing everything that he can to thwart conservatives, thwart the president, who has weaponized his courts in multiple. I mean, I filed articles of impeachment against him originally back in March of this year. Remember, this is the same judge who demanded that the president turn a plane full of Tren de Aragua terrorists around midair that he was deporting and bring them back into the United States. I mean, this is a judge who truly seems to believe that he is the commander in chief, that he can conduct our foreign policy, that he can determine who the deep state is being weaponized against and who they're monitoring and spying on. I mean, this is a really a despicable person. But so we've been pushing hard for impeachment, and this truly is somebody who should be nowhere near judicial power.
And of course, you sit on Judiciary Committee and House Oversight Committee, and you're on the front lines of this in terms of exercising your Article 1 responsibilities for Congress in terms of oversight. What do you think we'll uncover? Of course, all we know now are whistleblower activities, so we're eager to find out more. But what else do you think might come up?
And that's the amazing part about this whole investigation, which is, Kash Patel's been great at the FBI, but a lot of the stuff that was done before he got there has been hidden, and it's been they intentionally put it in area, in burn bags and areas in the FBI that they didn't think anybody would find. So the information we're getting is coming from whistleblowers. It's not coming from the FBI because they didn't know about it. So I think that the more information we get, which will come out over time, my expectation would be on Boasberg in particular that we'll find out that his fingerprints are on a whole lot more of this than what we know right now. We know that he signed off on those non-disclosure orders with United States senators' cell phone numbers on them. We know he was involved in other parts of this, and I think we're going to get more and more proof.
Of course, we have Watergate. We all know what Watergate was. Do you think this pales any comparison to that, or is it much?
It doesn't compare at all because this is so much bigger, so much bigger. Watergate was it was a scandal. It was a president trying to spy on a political opponent in a very in a non-official capacity. This is a sitting judge in an executive organization explicitly going after their political enemies by using the levers of the federal government, using the FBI, using the federal courts to spy on their political enemies for no real reason at all. There was no crime here. I'll give you an example. They, as part of the justification for the non-disclosure order against Senator Cruz, who, by the way, was not a leading insurrectionist on January 6th, as they would call it by any means. But the logic behind it was that Senator Cruz, if he knows that his data is being monitored, he will destroy evidence and he will intimidate witnesses. There was no basis for making either one of those determinations at all. Those were explicitly political opinions. But this was the entire basis for the left under the Biden administration spying on their political enemies, looking for anything they could. You know what? One of the things with this, I'll just say one more thing. So much of what the left does against conservatives is not just about getting information. It's putting conservatives through a massive expensive legal process that's going to take up their time and resources. I mean, that's a lot of what this is. The punishment is the process itself, and they know that, and they're willing to use it.
Well, we certainly thank you as victims of this investigation. We thank you for everything that you're doing in Congress to expose this, to uncover and see exactly what happened. And we're eager for more hearings and everything you're doing on the front line. So thank you.
Yep, of course. Thank you, guys.